Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. Today we have another pattern recommendations video for you, and all of these are free patterns. I don't know about you, but when I spend my time to make and gift something, I want it to be useful, not just something that they say thanks and don't know what to do with it. So we wanted to choose patterns that honestly we would love to not only make for others, but to also receive, which I think is so important to consider. We wanted to try and keep these projects one color and one skein if possible, except for the socks unless you're able to use a 100-gram single skein, and most of them use thicker yarns, or in other words, quick knits not in fingering weight. Would you like to feel a sample of our top picks out of over 100 yarns that we have reviewed on our channel? Click the link below to get your free specialty yarn card, knitting patterns, and more. So without me rambling on, let's jump into these free holiday gift knit patterns. And of course, all of the links are in the description box below. The first pattern is Jason's Cashmere Hat by Melissa Thomson. It comes in one size to fit a head circumference of 22 to 24 inches. It suggests using a US 6 and 8 or 4 and 5 millimeter needle size and a worsted weight yarn to meet gauge and the 2x2 rib pattern. It is knit from the bottom up. The body features cables and ribbing, and cable decreases towards the top. I have personally knit this hat twice this year, and I'm working on my third and maybe even my fourth one soon. This is my go-to pattern. It looks complicated with the cables, but it really isn't. It uses less than one skein of worsted weight yarn. I used Cascade 220 in their Superwash Merino version and also just their regular 220 version. I like the look of extending the ribbing section to make it longer, especially if you're knitting this for, say, your husband. It seems to cover their ears a little bit better. The second pattern is Timmer Fingerless Mittens by Agnes Brandels. It comes in three sizes, child, women, and men's, and suggests using a US 4 and 6 or 3.5 and 4 millimeter needle size with a worsted weight yarn in the broken rib stitch to meet gauge. So unfortunately this pattern comes in what feels like every language but English, but I recommend that you translate the pattern yourself, and it's pretty simple deciphering the pattern from there. These are knit from the bottom up in the round, starting at the ribbing. I knit the free Mittens version of these and Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash as a gift, and thought the process was pretty quick and enjoyable. The third pattern is the Vanilla Mittens by Kaitlin Barthold. They come in 7 sizes, ranging from adult extra small to 3XL, or a finished hand circumference of 6.5 to 9.5 inches and 6 to 8.5 inches in length. It suggests using a worsted weight yarn and a US 4 and 5 or 3.5 and 3 3/4 needle size to meet gauge. They are knit in the round starting at the cuff and working towards the top. They feature a fold-over cuff, hidden increases, right and left-handed construction, and a thumb gusset. The fourth pattern is the Cable Socks by Susan Jackson. They come in one size to fit the average woman's 8.5 inch foot circumference and recommends 1/2 inch of negative ease. It suggests using a US 1 or 2 1/4 millimeter needle size and a fingering weight yarn to meet gauge. They actually use Knit Pick Stroll for this pattern, which I must say is one of the softest merino yarns that I have felt. This pair of socks are knitted toe up and use a mitered heel. It features cozy cables all over and a 1x1 ribbed cuff. The fifth pattern is Slow Morning DK by Camille Heng. This thicker pair of socks come in 3 sizes to fit a foot circumference of 8 to 9.5 inches. They suggest using a US 2.5 or 3 millimeter needle size with a DK weight yarn like the new Drops Fiesta to meet gauge. They are knit from the cuff down in a 2x2 rib, which brings comfort and a cozy fit with a short row heel. I will admit that I didn't get the hype for knitting thicker socks, but man was I wrong. Not only do they knit up in what feels like record time, but they are so cozy. Quick and cozy gifts? Yes please, where do I sign up? I don't know if I'll go back to knitting fingering weight socks, at least for a while. The 6th pattern is the Mikos Tote by Teresa Chorzepa. It comes in one size with finished measurements of 8 by 8 by 8 inches, not including the handles. It suggests using a worsted weight yarn and a US 6 or 4 millimeter needle size to meet gauge. It is knit flat and then is seamed together. It features a textured waffle style stitch and I-cord straps. The 7th pattern is the Star Ornament by Adella Dutra. It comes in one size and measures 6.5 by 6.5 inches. It suggests using a bulky weight yarn and a US 11 or 8 millimeter needle size to meet gauge. It is knit in the round, starting at the outside and using center double decreases to work towards the center of the star. Ornaments are one of my favorite things to gift knit because typically you can make a few of them out of one skein of yarn and they're pretty quick to make. The 8th pattern is Simple Holiday Stockings by Carissa Browning. It comes in one size with finished measurements of 12 inches in circumference, 8 inches long foot, and leg length of 12 inches. It suggests using a worsted weight yarn with a US 8 or 5 millimeter needle size to meet gauge. The same basic template is used for all 3 of these designs and is very customizable. Each stocking begins with an I-cord that forms the top edge and the hanging loop. Stitches are then picked up along the I-cord and worked downwards, creating the stocking. A short row heel and star toe give the finished product a simple look that won't distract from your chosen stitch pattern. I personally think that the cabled stocking is calling out for me to knit it. The 9th pattern is Jumbo Christmas Stockings in a Jiffy Solid by Jennifer Jackson. It comes in one size and suggests using a US 15 or 10 millimeter needle size and a bulky weight yarn to meet gauge. It is worked from the top down in the round, starting at the ribbing. It features a fold-over cuff, heel flap and gusset, and contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs, or even stripes if you wish. She suggests it is a simple pattern that even beginner sock knitters can achieve. The 10th and final free pattern is the Christmas Tree Pillow by Knitting in the Park and is unfortunately not listed on Ravelry but their website. It comes in one size and suggests using a bulky weight yarn and a US 10 or 6 millimeter needle size and also a US 11 or 8 millimeter crochet hook. It starts at the top of the tree, making increases and then decreases to shape the branches of the tree. Both sides of the pillow are knit flat in panels separately and then are joined together with a crochet hook at the end. Are you working on any gift knits this season? We would love to hear about them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's pattern recommendation video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.